All right, guys, welcome to the sports action scenario. We're out here live at a field. I've got Sam with a soccer ball over here, and we're gonna have him running up and down the field a little bit with a soccer ball, and I'm gonna show you guys the best practices for actually getting a really awesome sports action shot. Now, to start off, many of you will have a kit lens. That's what I've got right now. I've got my Fuji X-T2 with a kit lens. Everything's on auto right now. So we're gonna go ahead, have Sam run left to right. And often, you'll be at a sporting event, you'll be out at the park, things will be happening quickly. So we're gonna go over how to get really good shots of that right now. So right at my auto, I'm at my 18 to 55, and he's really small in frame. Even if I zoom in on my 55 as he's coming. Okay, so we're looking at the 18 to 55 here. You can see we got some decent shots here. It's really not anything to write home about. It's fine, the auto worked great. You can see that the ISO dropped down to 200 because it's really bright out here. I'm at an f6.4 and I'm at 7/50th of a shutter. So that's pretty fast enough to sync stuff. But the shot just doesn't seem like that in your face, that actiony, that exciting, that's what we were trying to accomplish here. So the first thing I'm gonna do, and this is kind of a budgetary thing or renting a lens, but I'm gonna find a longer lens, a telephoto lens, so that I can sit on the sideline and I can get right up and see the face, see the expression, see the action. I'm gonna be right in there. You really wanna do that with a telephoto lens. So that's the first thing we're gonna do, and I'm gonna jump over to that right now. All right, I'm now on my telephoto lens, and on my camera, it's a 50 to 140 2.8. It's a beefy lens, and it's pretty big for such a tiny little camera. Again, these aren't that cheap, so it's not likely that you'll be purchasing something so big and so easy right away, unless you're really trying to get into sports photography and action. I highly recommend this type of lens. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in at 140. Everything's at auto, and we're gonna have Sam run back towards us, and let's see what that looks like. You ready? All right, cool. So let's take a look at some of these shots. Now it's a little blurry, everything's really in focus. The closeness works out a lot better. We got a lot closer, that looks really awesome. Now what's the next thing that we can do to make this look better? Since we're on auto, the camera is evaluatingly exposing everything, and it's giving me an ISO of 200, an f-stop of 5.6, and a shutter value of 800th of a second. Now I know that when we shoot on a long lens, we get some more shallow depth of field, but I want to get as shallow as I can. That means I want less in focus and more stuff out of focus. So I want to open up all the way to a 2.8. I'm ditching the auto. I'm now going to put the shutter to compensate for that. Instead of having it pick, I'm going to compensate and go to a 4,000 shutter. Now that's because the f-stop is wide open because I'm trying to get that shallow depth of field, and I'm at a 4,000 to compensate for all that light coming in, so I have a faster shutter. This is great for sports because adversely, when you have a faster shutter, that means we'll capture the light faster, and for action, that means we're freezing stuff, which is awesome. I'm gonna leave the ISO at 200 because it's really bright. Let's go ahead and have Sam come towards us now and see how that looks. All right, so sure enough, we have less in focus and it looks a little bit more actiony. Now this place is not the most picturesque. Grass in the back, it's a little brown and dirt because we're in the middle of winter shooting this, but that really helped a lot. You can see how much action that really is happening there. Now another thing that I wanna do is, because I feel like I'm sort of missing the actual kick, I'm missing the actual point where he actually kicks the ball, I'm gonna switch over to burst mode. Now for my camera, right now I'm in single mode and I'm just quickly shooting the shutter down as fast as I can, and it's autofocusing the best it can do. But you can see there's a couple shots where I kind of miss the action. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Sun run to this point, and we're gonna move my camera into continuous high, and I'll have the camera pretty close to the microphone so you'll hear how many pictures it's taking. On this camera, it's gonna be taking about 6 to 8 frames per second, and your camera could be different. Every camera will have a different frames per second. Now, if you're gonna be shooting sports or shooting any other action, you're probably gonna wanna look into getting a camera that has a higher frames per second rate. And oftentimes, some cameras have vertical grips. Add extra batteries that'll let you boost up the amount of frames per second. I think with this camera, if I put a vertical grip on, I can up my frames per second because it adds more power and it distributes evenly. So first, let's have Sam run towards us. We'll hold down the button for a little bit, and then we'll have him post up and we'll have him kick a ball. Great. All right, so one of the crazy things about this burst mode is sometimes it'll miss focus. It'll be faster than the autofocus is on this lens. But you can see here how we got this sequence of Sam running, and then for some reason his foot kicks the dirt, and you see all that dirt flying up. That's a product of a fast shutter. The background's blown out of focus. That's the product of the 2.8. And the burst mode, we can really see the sequence from when he begins, starting right here. Here he comes. You see the ball, you see him kick the dirt, he almost falls. Would have been great if he fell, right? Let's try the burst mode in another situation where we're just static and we're waiting for action to actually happen. We're counting it down. So what I'm doing now is to test burst mode out, I'm having Sam set the ball down. Now what I'm gonna do with autofocus is I'm gonna autofocus on the ball. I'm using my joystick to move my square over to where the ball is so it stays there. I'm setting up the shot. And now I'm gonna, on 3, have Sam go and kick it, and I'm gonna hold down the burst mode. You can see the sequence that we get, it's gonna be awesome. I'm also gonna zoom in at 140 because I wanna see the foot kicking the ball, and I think it'll be a really cool shot. Ready, Sam? Yeah. Okay, on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. So check out this sequence, let's rewind. We're zoomed in quite a bit, and as you can see, we're looking at the ball, focused on the ball. Here comes Sam, we get 1, 2, bam. Oh, see, we weren't even fast enough to see the actual impact. We just see ball, no ball. So now let's move into shuttering and making something really creative. Now, I said we're gonna use a high shutter because I wanna freeze everything. Now, something really cool, and we talk about this in lower shutters and low light, but if you try and move with your subject and use a slower shutter, we can try and time it out so that we're timed with Sam, but the background is a little blurry. Now, basically, we're trying to match the light or match the movement with my camera and him running to make a really creative shot. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. So basically, I'm gonna shutter down to about 60 because I know that that's kind of a slow shutter. And to compensate for that, I'm gonna have to move my f-stop up to about an 18, which will be better for autofocus when he's running by me. And I'm gonna keep it at the burst mode so we can see what we can get. And we're gonna try and move the shutter with Sam as steady as I can to make a really cool shot. Oh. So let's go ahead and take a look at both these sequences. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is actually something that's really hard to do, and I usually do it with cars more often than people. But you can see how we start with Sam, and I'm trying to keep the pace up as he's going at our slow shutter. You can see this shot is good timing. I was moving at the same speed that he was, but the background was moving faster than he and I were moving. So the slow shutter caused him to be in focus and sharp, and the background to be moving blurry. Now, it's not the best shot, and you can see this one's a little bit better right here. You can see his face is still struggling a little bit, but we caught him in the action, and then we had him go the other way. There's a couple like this one. This one's really cool movement. Now, if he was playing in a game, there'd be people around him. You'd see his jersey clearly. So this is a kind of a really hard thing to nail, but if you practice at it and get more consistent at it, you'll get some really cool shots like these.